Hey there everybody, it's Austin Bach, and we are here for our very first Ixalan draft. So it's the Monday after pre-release, and not only is this my first draft, but I did not play in a pre-release this time around, so it's actually my first time examining the set in the context of a limited format, so this will be an interesting experience. I did look at the spoiler, so I am familiar with most of the cards, but I might have to read a few here and there. Uncommons look okay, but nothing exciting. Pounce looks pretty strong. Just a common green removal spell. Always going to be desirable. Black. None of these creatures really catch my fancy. I think Favorable Winds is pretty overrated right now. I think people are thinking this card's going to be good, but it's not actually that great outside of very specific like blue-white Skies decks, and even then it's pretty marginal. But I think this is a pounce. Pretty easy. When in doubt, just take removal first. Alright. Taking a quick moment to read as many things as I can in the time period. This card seems very strong. 3/3 flying for 4, I'm already on board. Give something else flying, that's pretty strong. What else do we have? Spyglass seems like more of a constructed card. Don't think it's going to be playable in limited. This card you want to have like 4 or 5 copies of. This is like the mana accelerant of the format / fixer. Meh. Yeah, this card seems like the most powerful card in the pack at least. I'm kind of having to rely on just general card evaluation intuition here, not having played the format whatsoever. Although I will say that the one thing I have noticed is the format does look pretty aggressive. Like blue, it just gets these like aggressive 2-drops with raid that makes you want to attack. And blue is not generally an aggressive color, so that should send some warning signals, if nothing else. Another Favorable Winds, another Ixalan Archer. That's an interesting word. Ixalan. Let's see here. Reach, that's okay. Kind of crappy equipment. And this card doesn't seem too bad. Winddrake that drains for 1. This is like a momentary blink. Okay. Guess I'll take the efficient flyer. Not really sure what colors you really want to be in this format, but I'm just going to keep trying to take the best card as far as my intuition of card evaluation goes in every pack. Elaborate Fire Cannon I think is not very good. Got another one of these flyers. Deadeye Tormentor seems a little worse to me. Ooh, Shaper Apprentice, that's interesting. I'm guessing this is the kind of card you want to have like multiple copies of, plus a lot of flyers when you have Favorable Winds. So maybe we could take it and wheel the Favorable Winds. Huh? That's a plan, right? Although if that were the case, I might just take like the Skymarch Bloodletter just to stay on color. The only reason I would take this over it is if I thought I was going to get both of those Favorable Winds back, one or both of them. It's also just a Pious Interdiction, which I should probably just take over both of these flyers. Just removal is good. We already have a good white card, so we've got a little bit of a pull into white anyway. Also a Bounce Spell, which is notable. Probably better than the blue flyer anyway, if I was going to take a blue card. Alright, what do we have here? More aggressive blue cards. Could be a Signal. Commune with Dinosaurs. I mean, in a dinosaur deck it seems pretty good. Even if you only have like, I don't know, 5-ish dinosaurs, it's passable. It's going to hit you a land most of the time, but occasionally it'll hit you a creature. This card seems very strong to me. Territorial Hammerskull. If you're like semi-aggressive, you can just make blocking impossible for your opponent if you have one of these out. So hopefully we can take this and start taking some 2-drops. We have seen a few, but all of them have been blue so far. It's funny that blue is the aggressive 2-drop color in this format. Maybe it's just the way these packs have broken, but that's the way it seemed to me in general. Wow, there's still an Air Elemental in this pack. That's pretty surprising. This card is very strong. I don't think it should be going 6 pick. What else do we have? Ruthless Knave. Sack a creature, make 2 treasures. Doesn't seem great. Oh, you can also draw cards, I see. I mean, it doesn't seem better than Air Elemental. Anointed Decad is also interesting. Guessing this is a vampire. Yes, it is. So if we were like black and white, this could be a decent 5-drop. But it seems kind of situational, whereas Air Elemental, if I end up blue, is going to be strong. And I'm getting the vibe that blue is pretty open, just based on what we've seen. There's been a pretty high density of passable blue cards. See, look at this. There's so many blue cards left in this pack. Opt is not spectacular, but it's, you know, playable. Legion's Judgment, also playable. I'm just going to take this bounce spell, though. It's efficient. You're always going to want one in like a blue-white tempo deck, which it's looking like we might end up doing. Haven't seen many green or black cards outside of the first few picks. Storm Sculptor, I don't think is very good. I think this is like a functional reprint of Keymaster Rogue from Gatecrash. Gatecrash was also an aggressive format, and that card was not very good in that format, so I'm guessing that that version of the card isn't playable either, but you never know. Okay, Prosperous Pirates. This card could be good. It could allow us to splash. Another Storm Sculptor. What does this guy do? Make a 1/1? Oh, that's pretty strong. I think it's between these two. I'm not actually sure. I might just take the cheaper one. 3/2 comes with a 1/1 lifelink. That seems like a very strong card to be playing if you're in like a blue-white skies deck, because it's very good efficient blocker while you're beating down with your flyers. And so is Queen's Commission, even though it's not that strong. Might just take Dire Fleet Hoarder. There's a chance we could still end up black. Is this a vampire? No, it's a pirate. I see. When it dies, you get a token. Okay. I guess I'm on board for that. If we end up black, we'll consider it. Or to the ground. If this was return 2 vampires, we'd be more interested, because black-white, I'm guessing that's more what we're going to be looking to do. Guess I'll take a Legion Conquistador in case I get a bunch more, and for some reason I decide to play them. Doesn't seem likely, but well, that being said, I guess I'll take another one. I guess if we like care about vampires or something in the end, that's another reason. Ooh, another Perilous Voyage though. So yeah, we're kind of open to multiple different directions here, which is a fine place to be. Pretty sure I want to be white so far, but beyond that it could be either blue or black pretty happily, depending on what we get. Green's looking less likely. And red, obviously we haven't taken a single card yet, but that's fine by me. As long as we don't open like a red bomb. Not even sure what the red bombs are in this format, but I'm guessing there's like a... Actually there are quite a few now that I think about it. There's like the Burning Sun's Avatar and Captivating Crew, which are better than most of the uncommons and commons, if not all of them. Well then, speaking of black and green, Vraska is kind of unbeatable. Oh man, I guess we could be like black-white splash green. I could just take Air Elemental to be safe, but gotta take the Planeswalker, right? It's too sweet. Yeah, so it kind of throws a wrench in our plans. Not that much. I mean, I was already considering black as one of my colors. Now we can just prioritize a few tiny pieces of fixing to justify the splash. If this was like a competitive draft, I would probably just take the Air Elemental here. Vraska, like, she's very strong, don't get me wrong, but kind of flies in the face of what we've got going on already. But you know what? First draft of the format, I'm taking the Planeswalker, and I'm going to try to play it. Good old blue-white Vraska deck. Now I'm kind of wishing I took that Prosperous Pirates, because that would make it a lot easier to splash her. Assuming we were still blue, of course, but you never know. This card seems mediocre. I don't really want a third bounce spell. I don't even know if I want the second one. I could maybe try to take some green cards now. Ranging Raptors could help me fix my mana for Vraska a little bit. Fire Cannon's Blast is probably the best card in this pack, but red is the color we are farthest from. Water Trap Weaver goes very well with the blue-white tempo deck, but that would not allow us to play the Vraska. See, this is what I was talking about. If I had just taken the Air Elemental over Vraska, I could take the Water Trap Weaver, but I wanted to do something sweet. So here I'm going to take the Ranging Raptors to kind of do a 180 once again, and maybe we'll be green-white splashing Vraska. Alright, now we've got some stuff. Another good red card. The person that was passing to us is going to get hooked up this pack, that's for sure, because they were cutting red pretty hard. Bloodcrazed Paladin seems fine. You can if you've got an aggressive curve, you can just trade off 2-drop for 2-drop and then play it as a 3-drop or a 3-3 on the second turn or third turn. Or just later in the game, it can be like a 3-3 or 4-4 pretty easily. I don't see anything else I would want. I could take an Unknown Shores, but it seems so bad. It's got to be better fixing. I don't actually know what the fixing is in, especially in non-green decks, like if we were black-white. But I'm not going to take an Unknown Shores second pick, or I guess third pick out of the pack. I'll just take the rare. When in doubt, first draft of the format, take the rare. Try it out. It's usually my modus operandi during pre-release drafts. Vanquish the Weak seems pretty strong. Now we're starting to get some good black cards. There's another one of these guys. Pterodon Knight. Probably want to be green-white or green-red for this to work. Although I think it can be good in some decks. This card does not strike me as playable. Probably not going to take it. This card seems great though. Emissary of Sunrise. I'd be happy with a 2-1 first strike that draws a card, or a 3-2 first strike that lets me scry one. Both of those seem great to me. And yep, that's about it from this pack. So I think we can pull the blue out for now. Unsurprisingly, we passed a lot of blue cards pack 1, and then looks like it's not that open pack 2. Probably see some pack 3 again, but hopefully we'll have enough playables and we'll start getting white and black cards again. When we get there, assuming we're still black. Could still be green. I haven't seen enough reason to be green though, other than these 2 cards we've already taken. But green would give me a better chance of splashing the Vraska, I think, if it was my primary color. Huh. This card's interesting. It's very slow. But if you play it in a matchup where your life total's not under siege, it seems like it can kind of just take over a game. I don't know, this format strikes me as kind of aggressive though. I could just take a Pious Interdiction, which is the safe pick. But you know what? First draft of the format, like I just said, I gotta stick to my own words here. Take the rare, play it, see how good it is. Although my intuition is that it's not that great. So far my deck's looking like it kind of wants to be defensive, given that I've got multiple rares and don't really have an aggressive curve. I haven't really taken any 2-drops yet, which I kind of need to do. So I'll keep that in mind for now, moving forward. I can bring this in, I guess that's a 2-drop. Pretty good one too. I guess that lets me splash now that I think about it. I always forget about treasure in this format. That is a way to let you splash. Skymarch Bloodletter or Shining Aegosaur or Aerosaur. I think the Aerosaur fits better on a curve, but Bloodletter is a better defensive body just because it's cheaper, I think. I'm not sure if that logic checks out, but Mark of the Vampire, interesting. That's a nice flavor include. I remember seeing this card in M13 or M14, whenever it was first printed. Could take another Paladin of Bloodstained. It's a vampire, so if we get more Vampires Matters cards later on, it'll be nice. It's just a good defensive body. Desperate Castaways, that's a good defensive 2-drop. I'm going to have many artifacts, but I actually don't mind that much if it can't attack, given that our deck kind of wants to be defensive. For the most part, not always. We do have like the Hammer Skull, which is more of an aggressive card. The Aerosaur is kind of an aggressive card, but not necessarily. The only way to make artifacts right now we have is the Hoarder if it dies, which is not spectacular, but we'll see what happens. This is a playable card, but not a good one. It's more of a sideboard card for when your opponent has cards like Pious Interdiction or similar cards. Alright, I did wheel the Unknown Shores, so that's nice, I suppose. This card doesn't seem great. This card doesn't seem great either. This card isn't good in our deck. I don't know if we have any Pirates. We have 1, 2... Yeah, I don't know. Guess I'll take the... I don't think we're going to have enough dinosaurs for this, but I'll take it anyway. 3/3 Explorers, huh? Don't actually know if that's good or not. It seems less than ideal, but could be good, you never know. Generally, Vigilance plays a lot better than it looks, especially in aggressive formats, allowing you to, you know, trigger raid plus stay back on defense, or you know, just apply pressure while keeping your life total high. I'm a fan of Vigilance, even though 3/3 is not that great on a 5-drop. Alright, so that pack didn't go too badly. Got some removal, we got a couple bombs. Well, bomb and quote-unquote bomb, depending on our deck. Okay, what do we have here? This card I think is unplayable. Deathgorge Scavenger is very good. Well, maybe more in Constructed than Limited. I think this card's going to be great in Constructed, as you can see if you go back and watch my Constructed video from last week showing off the green-red dinosaur deck. Charging Monstersaur is extremely powerful card. One of the better uncommons in the set, but I don't think we're splashing for a 4th color for something that's not even, you know, not worth splashing. It's just a fantastic card if you're like a red aggro deck. Take another Direfleet Hoarder or a Slash of Talons. I'm not excited by either one, but I'll probably take the Slash of Talons. I think I'm going to be happy having one of those in my deck. Might as well pick it up now. Although I would like the fixing that the Hoarder provides. I don't think it's going to be worth first picking. We can probably pick one up later if we need to. It strikes me as that kind of card. Alright, Lurching Chupacabra. So that cares about exploring. We have 1 Explore card, 2 Explore cards. It looks like that's it. Probably not what I want to take here. What does this do? Pay a bunch of mana. No, it doesn't seem great. 1/3 flyer for 2, I guess. Not going to splash a Lightning Strike. It is the kind of card I would splash, but I'm already looking at a different splash right now. I guess, you know, it's a vampire. It's a cheap blocker. Things I don't mind. 1/3 flyers for 2 are usually not as bad as they look. Shapers of Nature is very strong. What else do we have? 2/2 Menace Explorers. Duress, more of a sideboard card. Looks like I'll just take a Pious Interdiction here over the Menace creature. So now I'm feeling pretty good about my removal. Sweet. This pack doesn't look very good for us. Pillar of Origins. I guess it's an artifact to turn on my Desperate Castaways, but it's not a card I want to play. I'll just take a 3/1 for 2. It's not exciting, but it'll have to do. Card doesn't seem great either. Man, look at these phenomenal cards just in other colors. It's kind of a shame. It's kind of the opposite of what we were seeing pack 1. I don't remember seeing much red, but now I mean, I don't know how good this card actually is in Limited. Rummaging Goblin's also very good. This pack just has nothing for us, though. I'm just going to hate draft, I suppose. There's absolutely nothing, not even a sideboard card I could take. 2/2 lifelink, that's playable. 4/4 flying for 6 is okay. Pirate's Cutlass is playable. I'll just take a Bishop Soldier. Never have too many 2-drops, as I always say. How many vampires do we have? Probably a decent number by now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These make 2, 8, 9. It's pretty good. I guess 7, but these count for 2, so this card could actually be good. We could even... do we have... I guess we could play the Conquistadors just to fill out our deck with a couple more crappy vampires. Probably not enough of a payoff, but it's a consideration at least. It's also the combat trick we could have taken, but I don't need no combat tricks. Alright, another removal spell, or another first striker. We're looking pretty good on creatures. We're at 15 right now. Legion's Judgment, I don't know if it's if it's main deckable in this format. I think it's worse than Pious Interdiction, just in terms of like a game 1 scenario. Your opponent might not have targets for it, and it could just be rotting in your hand while you get beaten down by 2/2s and 3/3s. So I don't like that aspect of it. But I don't think I need another 3-drop. So I guess I'll take it. Probably play it. Like if I was in the market for more 3-drops, I could just play these 2 Conquistadors. Which is worse, obviously, but I think it's worse to need a Legion's Judgment and not have it than to need an Emissary and not have it, if that makes sense. Because this is above replacement level when it is good. This pack is not good for us either. I don't think I'm playing 2 of these. I don't even know if I'm playing the first copy. I don't know if I want to play Unknown Shores either. Might have to do something with this Vraska though. Not sure yet what my mana situation is going to look like. Probably not going to play more than like an Unknown Shores and maybe 1 or 2 forests in order to facilitate the splash. But there's also nothing in this pack for me, so hooray. Options. Alright, just in case we decide to go down the Conquistador rabbit hole, we are set. What are we looking at? 22 playables? Could go for a couple more. Okay, I guess that qualifies as another one. So now we've actually got a pretty good number of cheap aggressive cards. Whoops, that's not good. So don't know if I want to play a strictly defensive body like the Castaways anymore, given that it's going to be really hard to turn it on to start attacking. So let's go ahead and cut that. Gotta resize everything because I had to reinstall Magic Online recently. So I'm still looking at these Conquistadors. What are our vampire payoffs? I think it's just the Bishop, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, it's card advantage. My intuition tells me this card's not great, but it could be good, depending on the format. And if there's ever a time to test it out, it would be during the pre-release, right? What would I cut for them? If I added them in, I'd have to make 2 cuts. I could just cut the Sunrise Seeker. And not cutting this. I could cut the Legion's Judgment and just move it to the sideboard. Her removal looks pretty good right now. 2 hard removal spells, 1 situational, one, I guess 2 situational removal spells. These cards do complement each other pretty well. Let's see if I just played this and just one of my... Oh, we have 4 Conquistadors? That can't be right. My client might be bugged. I think I only had 3. Unless I last picked one and didn't notice. I could just play a 1/7, that's not great. Well, I think my client's bugged. Wait, let me do a quick count. This is 43. No, it looks right. The count works out. Sometimes the client bugs out and gives you an extra copy of a card you don't actually have. I might just try it out. I'll just trim on some stuff. I'll play 3, how about that? I won't play the 4th, even though it does get better in multiples. It seems so bad to me, just when you're like, you know, when you draw multiples of these, because you really only want to draw the first copy and then go get the other 2. Because, you know, if you think about it as like a 4 white white, make 2 2/2s, that's like not a bad card. It's not a great card, but it's not a bad card. It's just the problem is occasionally you're just going to draw the second copy and then you no longer get that card advantage. And then it looks pretty bad. But this is what testing's for. So I'll give this a shot. Right, so about this Vraska situation, I am still going to play it. So we're looking at the Direfleet Hoarder. If we can trade it off in combat, that will get us to the green mana we need. If we play Unknown Shores and like 1 forest, it's like 2.5 green sources, more or less. Vraska doesn't really go with our plan at all, and I shouldn't have taken her in the first place, but obviously we're going to play her now that we have her. So let's figure out the rest of our mana. Say we did something like this. Where does that leave us? Let's sort by color really quick. We're actually not that heavily into black, but we do want black at pretty much every point. So what do you have right here? 8/7. Pretty good. We do want to have white like at all times, so I might want to bump it up to 9. Then I'd have to go down to what, 6 swamps? That's a little sketchy, but we do have the Unknown Shores. I guess we don't really need black right away. It's way more disastrous if we're missing on plains than swamp. So I guess I'll make the recommended swap. For once, Magic Online made a correct assessment of my deck and offered the correct number of basic lands I should put in my deck. So yeah, I guess this is the deck. No idea if this is good or not, but I've got some powerful cards. I've got removal, I've got a curve, and I think I can work with that. So let's take it into round 1.